Hey collectors, welcome to Star Wars Collected. I'm Jonathan. If you're new here, I hope you'll consider sticking around and subscribing. And if you've already subscribed, it's great to see you guys. Welcome back. Today what I have for you is a brand new hot toy, at least brand new for me. It is TMS-044, which can be the one, the only, the Armorer. This was an item that was on my wish list for a while. I'd put it on there, I'd take it off. I never ended up pulling the trigger on it. I've been watching them in the secondary market on eBay. The secondary market's always so weird, you know, sometimes new item comes out, it's more than what MSRP is on it, and sometimes it just continues to go up and up and up. Other times they start to drop down a little bit. Sometimes they go back and forth. So right now the Armorer is sort of going below retail. So I picked this up from someone on eBay who was letting go of theirs. They only had it apparently for a few months before they decided that it wasn't quite right for their collection. So now we get it. So let's go ahead and open this one up. If you guys like 6-scale figures, whether those are Hot Toys or Sideshow, you're definitely going to want to stick around. I have a whole stack of boxes behind the camera right now that are all 1/6 scale figures that I need to unbox, review, pose with you guys. So you're going to be seeing a lot of that over the next month or so here on the channel. Okay, so we've got our box open here. Let's go ahead and slide this out. Looks like we're missing the little plastic cover that usually goes between these two boxes. I don't particularly care, but I just wanted to point that out. How do you guys feel about shipper boxes? Does having a shipper box or not having a shipper box influence whether you want to buy that particular figure or not? How much more would you pay to have the shipper box included with the original box over just having this one? Let me know down in the comments. I'm really super interested to hear that. All right, so we have our Armorer here. So very standard Star Wars box that we're all used to seeing a lot. It is sort of the black with the gray, sort of V going down here. We have a great shot of the Armorer up front here. That is a fantastic pose. We might be replicating that pose for ourselves. And then we sort of have this band that's going around the outside edge. We've seen this a lot recently, especially on figures for the Mandalorian. This one has a sticker in the top corner that says Sideshow exclusive. I don't know if that means that this version is a Sideshow exclusive or if this figure is a Sideshow exclusive. If you happen to know the answer to that, hop down in the comments and let me know. All right, I always feel like there should be like an angel singing or some kind of light emitting when I'm lifting the top of the box here. All right, so now we are inside and we have another great portrait of the Armorer. One thing that really stuck out to me about this figure is I love that it's a little bit of mixed media. So we have this cool fur collar, which makes a lot of sense because the Armorer had that. And then we're just gonna have a couple different textures throughout. And I'm really interested to see how they handle some of these items. Some of these things that look like leather, whether they did them in some sort of leather-like material. We have all kinds of very cool looking accessories, some that I wasn't really even expecting here. Let's go ahead and get rid of this top casing piece here, so that way we can really dive into it. So to me, this is about right when I think of a hot toy piece with accessories. I've gotten a few recently. I think the Captain Rex really came with very little accessories. And then I think on the other end of it, sometimes, you know, something like the Din Djarin himself, the Mandalorian. I think I bought the deluxe version, so maybe that's on me because I wanted more Baby Yodas or something. But sometimes they come with a lot more accessories, and sometimes I sort of wish you could buy a core figure for, you know, $200 with really just the primary accessories, maybe not even hand swaps or something like that, and then offer maybe a deluxe version that comes in at $250, $265, something of that nature. It would just be kind of a nice way to make these maybe a little bit more affordable for more people. So we have a handful of hands, if you will, down here, plus the ones that are already on there. Some extra pegs, of course. These always come in for wrists. Then we have some of her very cool accessories, which I like these a lot. They look metal, they are very much plastic, so we will have to keep that in mind as we are moving around. Little pour type thing here. Now this is rounded on the bottom, but sort of has like a molten metal already in it. We have, I love this, a little brick of Beskar. We got quite a few of these with the Mandalorian. He has the the ice cream maker that Will Hood had, and that comes with a whole bunch of those pieces. This is a piece that I wasn't expecting to have. This is a chest plate. It looks like Din Djarin's chest plate to me. So you can sort of have like an accessory if you wanted her to be pounding on something or something of that nature. To me, this is the key accessory that I think of when I think of her. This is a hammer. Just very, I think if you're gonna pick one tool for her to have, she has to have her hammer, sort of like Thor or something like that. And then I don't recall exactly what this is. I'm guessing it's some sort of welding device, because it kind of looks like a welding device. So we've got that there. So those are all the accessories on the outside edge. Let's go ahead and lift this girl out of here. And we've got a piece of foam across her back. We'll take that off. So, you know, this is fantastic. This actually kind of looks like Wookiee fur. I don't know if it is or not, but I kind of get that vibe from it. The skirt has a ton of detail to it. Now, I remember when these were first coming out, a couple people, I think, had issues with their skirt. So I was a little bit concerned with this coming in as to whether I would have any issues with it, and it looks fantastic to me. It has the illusion, I think, that it is stitched here in between each piece. There's a little tiny rectangle that kind of looks like a stitch. I believe that more is just like a pressed type item. However, this skirt does also have little stitches, and I think that it might actually be stitched to look like that. So fantastic, really great quality there. We have these nice boot covers that are separate pieces over top of what I guess would normally probably be a boot, but they are definitely shoes on here. You can see there's a little bit of an ankle joint here. So that's kind of interesting. A little stiff on the arms here. All kinds of accessories, kind of reminds me of Han Solo or something like that, having all these little places here for things of that nature. Some really nice weathering here on the chest plate. It is sort of this rose gold or rose bronze type look, but there is a great amount of speckling and sort of dirt around the edges and things of that nature. And then we're going to come up here to the helmet. This is actually a helmet that I've yet to find a great 3D print file of, but this is definitely on my list of things that I would love to 3D print and add to my wall. It has some good contrast here on the little spikes. It is sort of a cool combination of the night owls with sort of the shape of the eyes a little bit, with a more traditional Mandalorian helmet. And you kind of have the stripe down the middle, sort of like Din Djarin. You just sort of get an even more medieval feel from her helmet. Some nice shoulder pieces here, which are sort of a basket weave. Again, they are molded, sort of a soft plastic. You have her jumpsuit, so these are 2 layers here. This piece here is separate from this. Nice striping down the side here, the legs. There's actually quite a few layers of fabric there, at least 3 or 4 layers, as well as some nice detailed stitching intricacies here and there. And on the back, there is a back plate, which I guess, of course, there would be, but that is not something that I think we ever saw in The Mandalorian, unless maybe she was having a fight with the stormtroopers and this fur part came up and you could see that for a moment. But that is cool to see and good to know. I don't see any mounts there for a jetpack, but it kind of seems like in The Mandalorian that the jetpacks are almost magnetic or something like that they sort of stick on them that way. The joints feel very stiff. That's not a bad thing. I'd rather have stiff joints than loose joints. They also seem to sort of lock in place one way or the other. It seems like a lot of the other pieces I have aren't so much locking as much as you can just sort of position them sort of in a smooth way and they stay there. Let's dig just a little bit deeper here and pull out what we might have left. We have a base that says Star Wars The Armorer on it. It sort of has this metal grate on top, which is not quite black or gray. It also seems to have a little bit of rust on it and maybe is a very dark bronze, something of that nature. It does actually have some very real depth to it though. These pieces on top are probably a good ½ inch away from the base underneath. So if you were to drop something, it would fall in there. But that's kind of cool as far as that goes. And then we have our pretty standard at this point, you know, doll holder type piece that you'll see used throughout the industry. This one goes around the waist opposed to going up the crotch. I think Sideshow does a little bit more of the crotch stuff, although I don't think that's always the case. But at least for this one, for Hot Toys, they decided to do it this way. And this one, instead of having a piece in the back that it slots into, it fits inside one of these slots. So theoretically, if you wanted to, you could put her asymmetrically off to the side. If you wanted to have her there, and have something next to her. You could do something of that nature. That's kind of an interesting option that I've never seen them really explore before. So overall, first impressions, she looks great. I was a little bit nervous. I had heard some mixed reviews on this figure, but I'm very pleased that I didn't initially pull the trigger on it, and I was able to save a little bit of money by picking her up secondhand from someone else. So I'm going to dive into the accessories here, figure out maybe how I think she would look best posed. I'll do that real quick, and then we'll come back. All right, collectors, here we go. We have her all posed up at this point. You know, I kind of went with the pose that's right on the front of the box. I think it looks fantastic. I think it kind of shows the character as to what they are, both being the armor, obviously with her tools, but also just kind of being like a kind of a fierce warrior, even though she's using sort of alternative type, you know, weapons. But also that's sort of just like a protection pose. And I think a lot of her role in the first season of The Mandalorian was sort of like protecting their ethics and their traditions and things like that. So I felt like this was sort of a good protector pose. So, you know, overall, I think this is a really fantastic figure. I'm more impressed with it than I thought I would be. I don't, maybe I got lucky, but like I said, there was some criticisms of this figure when it came out. And some people did kind of dump it early on, but I think it's great. I think if you have the Mandalorian, especially the season 1 Mandalorian, that she makes a great accompaniment to that. I'm surprised that we did not see her in season 2. I wouldn't be surprised if we did see her in season 3, especially now that Din Djarin sort of has the Bo-Katan influence of what it means to be a Mandalorian. To a lesser extent, maybe Boba Fett's influence of what it means to be a Mandalorian, and then what the armorer and his whole original clan kind of taught him as to what it was to be a Mandalorian. So, you know, I hope we see her in season 2 or season 3. I don't think we need the Armorer spinoff show on Disney Plus, but I would love to see more from her. And Emily Swallow, I'm sure, would love to reprise her role in the suit as well. So, guys, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a like. If you like videos like this, please consider subscribing. Also, make sure you hop on to Instagram and check us out there. We're always running polls and sharing memes and all kinds of fun stuff. There's a lot more conversation going on over there with me as well. And guys, have a great day, and I'll see you later.